The trial for a West Salem man charged with first-degree intentional homicide saw its first witnesses take the stand today. WEAU's Zach Prelutsky was at the courthouse covering all of today's proceedings.
Testimony is underway here at the La Crosse County Circuit Court in the trial of Todd Kendhammer. After the jury visited the scene early this morning, both the state and the defense made their opening statements before the state started presenting their case. 3 witnesses the state called all responded to the scene: West Salem police officer Lance Lawful Holtz, medical transporter Brandon Hauser, and Adam Wicklund, who worked for the La Crosse County Sheriff's Department at the time. Hauser talked about being the first on the scene.
When you walked towards the car, what did you see?
I saw a female on the ground with a male at the feet of the female.
And the male at the feet, was he standing, kneeling, sitting?
He was in a crouched position.
Was he performing CPR at that time?
He was not.
The state finished the day by calling one more witness, La Crosse County Sheriff Investigative Captain John Zimmerman, who was the lead investigator of the case. Tuesday's testimony was focused mainly on what the witnesses at the scene observed with the car, the pipe, and Kendhammer's demeanor and state of mind, as well as how the evidence was collected.
I had a new tarp in my vehicle that I covered the pipe with, and come time to collect it, paper bags were placed on each end of the pipe so I could handle it properly, and it was transported to the Sheriff's Department.
The trial will pick back up Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. when the state will continue to call witnesses.
Today, during day 3 of the trial in La Crosse County Court, the state called 9 witnesses, including 2 who Kendhammer say were involved in a job he claims he was on his way to at the time of the incident. Other witnesses included an investigator with the Sheriff's Department and former co-workers of Barbara. Medical examiner Dr. Kathleen McCubbin, who performed the autopsy, was also on the stand for more than 2 hours testifying about her report.
When you completed the autopsy, did you have an opinion as to the cause of Barbara Kendhammer's death?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
The cause of Barbara Kendhammer's death was blunt impact injuries of her head and neck.
Dr. McCubbin also testified she discovered Barbara suffered a fracture around her trachea, which suggests there was strangulation or a strike to the neck. Testimony resumes tomorrow morning at 8:30. Day 4 in the trial of a West Salem man accused of killing his wife saw more witnesses testify at the La Crosse County Circuit Court. Today, the jury watched the video of Todd Kendhammer being questioned by 2 La Crosse County Sheriff Department investigators for over 3.5 hours, less than a week after the incident. Investigators were seen repeatedly telling Kendhammer that the injuries to Barbara Kendhammer are inconsistent with his version of what he told them happened that morning. Kendhammer was seen replying that he does not know how they occurred and denied any involvement in his wife's death. They also heard testimony from one of the investigators that questioned Kendhammer.
When you're conducting an interview, you're basically, there's verbal and nonverbal communication going on amongst things. You can see things of how a person sits, how they react to questions, open, close. Patterns can be developed just by asking questions.
Yes.
Others who testified included a La Crosse County Deputy Medical Examiner, a La Crosse County Deputy Sheriff, and Captain John Zimmerman. For the second time in 3 days, the trial resumes tomorrow morning.
The first week of trial against a West Salem man accused of killing his wife and staging a car accident wraps up. Fox 2548's Zach Prelutsky has been following the case all week and has more from the 5th day of trial.
Today, the state of Wisconsin called what is expected to be its final 3 witnesses to testify in the case against Todd Kendhammer. Today, the jury heard from a Wisconsin State Patrolman who did crash reconstruction of the incident and 2 members of the state crime lab. Kevin Scott, who was a DNA analyst, and Nick Stolke, a forensic scientist who testified about what he observed when he examined the Kendhammer car and the subsequent damage.
I would conclude then that this impact site was produced before the hole was produced in this windshield.
Stolke then went on to testify that he observed no blood on the passenger side headrest, backrest, or seat cushion.
Just the fact that the dirt and the glass were present on the cushion of this seat would indicate that no one was seated in this seat or in this front seat area when those substances were deposited on that seat.
Kendhammer claims his wife was struck by a steel pipe that fell off a flatbed truck driving southbound while he was heading north. During cross-examination, the defense attacked Stalkey's credibility in his glass expertise and brought up that it was raining the day of the incident, potentially causing some blood to be washed away on the windshield and pipe. Over the course of the last 4 days of testimony, the state has called more than 15 witnesses to testify and focused on the number of Barbara's injuries, as well as a story from Todd that has left more questions than answers. The state is expected to rest first thing Monday morning, and then the defense will start presenting their case. The trial picks back up Monday morning at 8:30 a.m.